Hi everyone, I hope you are doing well. Today we're going to be talking about dyslexia and really about how dyslexia affects me now and how it affected me when I was kind of little. Now, if you are new to the channel, you may not know this, but when I was little I had a speech impairment, and so thereby that's always been the main kind of disability that I had. But I never allowed it to really affect me. But when I was 29, I was diagnosed with dyslexia, and it wasn't the full diagnosis. It was just like a screening, like an assessor. And this is because I was 29 years old. And it was done through my employer, and so yeah, it wasn't a full say diagnosis, but what she told me was very interesting. And we was talking about how I find reading and writing hard, and she said, what about your memory? Can you remember, what was it, if I show you all of this, yeah, and there was it was a memory test, yeah. I can't remember what it was, and that was a long time ago. But say, the memory tests, it's usually have say some sweets, a cup, or say a pen, a little toy or something, yeah. And she said, look at it for however long you want, and then tell me when you are ready. And I'd done some reading tests before, and I kind of always got at least one I could remember, but the rest I couldn't. So I think I got round about 2 or 3 out of the 10, and so she said, okay, that's fine. And so then we've done some reading, and what was it? She said, can you tell me about the story, kind of thing. And I was telling her, but I read every single word individually. So it would so she wanted me not to read out loud. She wanted me to just read it and then tell her. And she said to me, did you read every single word? And I went, yes. And she said, okay, most people would just skim over the words and to get a general picture. And I said, well, I find that if I read every single word, that most of the time I can generally get the picture. And so that was interesting. But I said, I do get, what was it, if it's something that I'm not interested in, then I do get bored and I kind of switch off. Or if there's too many hard words and that to kind of the vowel words, or what was it, the nouns and that, say fine, but it's I said no. And then she said, do you get mixed up with words spelling words there and there, what was it? And I said yes. And I said it's a big problem for me, because it's that kind of thing whereby I want to understand, but sometimes I can't. And she's like, okay. And she's then went on to concentration. And also the last bit, which was interesting, was about speech. She asked me whether I had a speech impairment when I was little, and I said yes. And I said I couldn't pronounce long say words. I found, and I saw finding sounds very, very difficult. Sometimes I can say them the SC sounds, what was it, so no, so no, names that begins with SC, and that I find them very hard to say. And like sometimes you may be listening to this and you think, well, what did she say? And this is why, like, say videos, they take me a long time to do, because often or not, I will know when I mess up. So I might be doing a long video, could be 5 minutes like this one is now, and I'm thinking, well, I hope they don't get bored. It's that kind of thing. My mind can go off. Some people like will say, well, isn't that like ADHD? Well, I don't fidget. What was it? When I was little, no. So I don't believe that ADHD and dyslexia, some of those are very similar. So like the concentration, I find it hard to concentrate for a very long time. A focus is another one. And that is like ADHD as well. But consider this. You may have, say, difficulties and that, like, sometimes. But with a lot of dyslexics, they will find ways to go about it. And the more dyslexic you are, this is what I heard in the podcast, the more dyslexic you are, the more that you kind of find ways about it. So if you can't do it, you find someone else who can, or you find like other ways. So like I found by listening to dyslexic podcasts that I found some tools. So like WordTune is free. There is a paid version. Then from that I found another one, and you don't know what WordTune is, I know. So WordTune is a rewriter. So you write some text, okay, and then you basically will go, right, okay, does this make sense? And then you put it into rewriter, so like WordTune, and it will give you some alternative ways of saying it with proper like grammar and like English. And again, there's a paid version and that. So I've always wanted to write a book. And there's two ways I could write a book, okay? One is to do this rewriter thing. It's going to take me a very long time. Or two, kind of like get a ghostwriter or someone. So there are ways that you can like do things. Or what I'm going to do is use mind mapping, so bullet mind mapping and stuff like that, to now do a lot of my work. And I'll come on to that another time, because I'm learning this like new. So when I learn something new, I get obsessed. When I was learning about like autism when I was only like 15 years old, it was because this lad kept on saying, what's your name? And I wanted to know why he was saying it. And it turns out that he had autism. I had no clue what autism was back then. And I got like really obsessed with learning about that. I went out of my way to learn about autism by reading books. I don't think YouTube was around. It might have been, but there was no videos on there. And so I was very much kind of like, right, I need to read. And so when I came to a word, I would say to like my mum or my dad, or not really my brother, but I would say, what's that word? And I would remember it. And interestingly enough, with the like learning to like spell kind of words, so when I was writing about like maybe autism for like something, I don't know, I would have to write that word 1,000 times. AUTISM, autism. And it's like dyslexia. I couldn't spell it. What was it? Because I don't use it enough. But now, what was it? In my brain, I can see it like as dyslexia. So I know it's DYS. Then it's weird. It's L. And then, what was it? Sometimes I have to think. I was like, is it A or is it I? And it's all about repeating the words in my head, but also writing it down. And I was listening to a podcast, what was it, yesterday, and what was it, Theo Goff, and I am a subscriber of his, and he's a dyslexic, severely dyslexic, and I think he's a coach and what was it and stuff and that. See, a lot of dyslexics, they tend to be very good at sports, me, very good at like creating projects, but then what happens is that we tend to start them, get them up to a certain point, and then we get bored and then we go on to something else, which is very similar to ADHD. But what was it? I think that's just how we work. And that, so for me at the moment, my passion is to learn all about like a dyslexia, and to basically find like strategies and to practice those to improve myself. And oh, my tummy's hungry. What was it? And then what was it? I want to coach people with dyslexia, because I think I'll be able to help them more with their mindset than anything else. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. And I'm very passionate about it, and I absolutely love it. But listening to podcasts has really got me. It's got that hunger again, and so that's what I'm going to do. Also, I'm going to do another video about something else that I'm very passionate about, and that's getting back into my sports and really getting like a fit, because believe me, I was not this big when I was like a teenager or in my 20s. Well, I was big in my 20s, but not as big. I mean, I think I'm about 14 light zone, clothes wise about like 18, but I want to get down. But I went to this fitness club yesterday. I will do another video on this as well, but I went to this fitness club yesterday, and one of my main goals is I want to lose the weight so I'll be able to play tennis again. I love tennis, absolutely love it, and my goal was always to do sports coaching, and so that's what I want to do. And I will do a video on this, but it is related to dyslexia, because what we tend to do as dyslexics is that we tend to think, I really want to do this, but my dyslexia is getting in the way. And I was told, to not kind of do some stuff, yeah? So I did it. I done care work, and that. Care work was an easy one for me to do, because there was little writing and reading, and I was good at it, and that's why I went into care work, because I knew I couldn't become a sports coach, because there wasn't much out there to be a sports coach to like disabled kids. So what I wanted to do wasn't available, but now I can create that. But it's like I said, I got this project called like a Funky Kids, and in my head I know it will work, but then when you get parents either not turning up, or it can be very deflating, and it does knock your confidence. So I think it's that thing of like, well, maybe that's a failed project, but it's not. I haven't put the time or the energy like into it. Oh my god, my tummy's really hungry. I haven't had anything to eat today. It's gurgling. See, another dyslexic thing, just telling you what's actually going on. Right, so anyway, guys, if you are kind of thinking to yourself, you might be dyslexic, yeah, you might have difficulty in reading and writing, but also it's not just about that, yeah, it's about the short-term memory, it's about concentration and like a focus. it's also about language as well, how we present ourselves, how we talk, because of vocabulary we may think that we can't say certain words because they are too complicated, so we keep it simple. And other people are very good at using those complicated words, but they may have, I say, difficulty in other areas and that. So I really do think that dyslexia, there's good and there's things that we can improve and stuff. So make sure that you kind of stay tuned to this channel, and I really hope Dan finishes. My tummy is just gurgling and gurgling. It's like, Urgh. And now I've run out of juice. So anyway, guys, I will see you very soon.